Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA with me, Seamus Brady, your host, and for this we are going to run through all of the action which took place across the weekend from men's Gaelic football, from ladies Gaelic football, from hurling and from camogie. For the hurling we're going to focus on Division 1, for the camogie we're going to focus on 1A, and for the ladies Gaelic football we're going to focus on Division 1 as well. So do like, subscribe, share and comment, all that good stuff. It really helps us out here on the channel. And let's start with the men's Gaelic football Division 1. The first game we're going to look at is Monaghan 13 points, Tyrone 2 goals and 15 points. A massive victory for Tyrone. They should be safe now, whereas Monaghan, you'd be worried for them. And now they go away to Mayo next weekend. We're going to get into Mayo. Had a fantastic victory over Donegal there again, looking really, really good under Kevin McStay week after week. Vinnie Corey's men finished with 13 men on the field. Jack McCarron was shown a yellow and a black card, and Killian Novell was shown a straight red card. They were both sent off. Cormac Quinn and Peter Hart with a penalty scored Tyrone's goals. Both of them came in the first half. Darren McCurry also contributed 4 points. Derek Canavan with 3. For Monaghan, it's hugely disappointing as only one of their 13 points came from play. That was Kieran Duffy. It's not what I expected from them. I expected that they would have a lot more, innovativeness in their attack, a lot more imagination in their attack, especially considering in every other game in the Allianz League they had been doing that, but not the way it went in this game, and especially with so much on the line and how Monaghan have fought over the years, you would expect something big. But I mean, going away to Mayo next week to save themselves is going to be as big and ask as it has ever been. They need to also hope that Tyrone beat Armagh. So they also need results to go their way. And speaking of the team that they are going away to play against, Mayo 117, Donegal 9 points. Donegal are now relegated. And amazingly, it is Mayo's first victory ever in Donegal. It was a dismal performance by Donegal. They have now not scored a goal from open play in any of their league games. They got 1 goal from a penalty from Oisin Gallen, and apart from that they haven't even really looked like scoring a goal. Jamie Brennan had a flash goal chance against Monaghan, but apart from that they have been completely toothless up front. We've been saying this on the channel for months. There's a lot of discontent around the camp. You think about the Jim McGuinness situation as well, the comments that have come out there. There's just a lot of negativity around the Donegal camp right now. When you look at the likes of Michael Murphy, Neil McGee retiring as well, and now relegated to Division 2. It's tough. It's tough to see where Donegal go from here. This is as tough a situation as I've seen Donegal in since 2010. It really is, and they really have fallen off a cliff over the last couple of years. And the thing is, they still have world-class players, so you still wonder, can they turn it around? They still have McBurty. I know he's not fit right now, but they still have Michael Langan, a world-class player. They still have Ryan McHugh, Padder Morgan, Hugh McFadden, Kyla McGonigal, very strong midfield pairing there. Brendan McCall, fantastic fullback. Owen Baum Gallagher, Jamie Brennan, Oisin Gallen, Conor O'Donnell. Really good forwards. There's a good team there in Donegal. They just need to believe in themselves a bit more. And I really do believe that McGuinness would have been a perfect appointment for them. I don't know why they didn't hire him, because when you look at hiring the right guy, I think Mayo have hired the right guy in Kevin McStay. He's doing a fantastic job so far. You look at the absolute brilliant form that he's getting out of Aidan O'Shea, Ryan O'Donoghue, James Carr. Ryan O'Donoghue hit a goal for Mayo in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Aidan O'Shea was fantastic in this game as well. And yeah, Mayo basically just dominated this game. Matthew Oran hit 3 points from play from midfield in the first half. Mayo were 11-6 ahead at halftime. Just a dismal performance by Donegal. And they only hit 3 points in the second half. Terrible when you consider how much was on the line. And they just lost this game with a whimper, simply put. And a lot needs to change now going forward for Donegal. One team that could be going down with them next week, provided that they don't beat Tyrone, is Armagh. They lost 1-6 to 1-8 against Galway, a potentially hugely significant defeat. Matthew Tierney flicked home a late goal as Galway got a dramatic victory at the Athletic Grounds in Armagh. Armagh were stronger in the first half in a dour game. They went in 1-4 to 3 points ahead. The goal coming from Ethan Rafferty continues to change the game from his new position between the sticks for Armagh. In the second half, Galway pulled Armagh in bit by bit with scores from Johnny Heaney, Tom O'Callaghan, and Shane Walsh before Tierney's late goal snatched the victory. Armagh now face a winner-bust game with Tyrone. And to be honest, having seen how Tyrone put Monaghan to the sword, it's looking daunting for Armagh. But then again, last year they did beat Tyrone in the championship, and they did beat them well. When you think about the rivalry between the two counties, No Love lost 5 red cards last year. That will definitely be a game that I will be tuning into. The last game then in Division 1 was Kerry 112, Roscommon 12 points. An early David Clifford goal was the difference between the two teams. That goal from him came in the 5th minute. Now, if Kerry beat Galway in Salt Hill, they can still qualify for the league final. And you have to think that Kerry have been kind of branded as having had a poor league campaign. As we speak right now, they could still actually go and win the league, and what a turn for the books that would be. For Roscommon, they've gone from winning 3 on the bounce to losing 3 on the bounce. Not exactly what Davy Burke would have wanted. Their best part of the game was they hit a burst of 3 scores in the first half to stay in the game 1-7 to 5 points behind at half time. They also hit the first 3 of the second half, from Conor Cox hitting 2 of them and Dara Craig hitting the other one. And when Graham O'Sullivan was sin bin, Roscommon looked like they might have a window back into the game. However, Kerry outscored them 2 points to 1 when the sin bin was active, and following O'Sullivan's return to the field, Shawnee O'Shea and David Clifford put Kerry 111 to 9 points ahead. Roscommon did rally again, hitting 3 of the last 4 to fight back. Downey Smith with 2 of them, but it wasn't enough. The sin bin moment, I think, was definitely an opportunity for Roscommon to push on a little bit more, but who knows, maybe they have their eyes on their Connacht Championship for 2023, and no doubt Davy Burke will want to taste that Connacht success. Now moving down to Division 2, 111 to Meath, 219 to Dublin. A massively missed opportunity for Meath here, in my opinion. They just let this game pass them by. It was Colm O'Rourke, an absolute Meath legend, a Hall of Famer, coming in, a man that was part of Meath sides that battled against Dublin for years. And you look at how bad Meath have been against Dublin now for years. Meath haven't beaten Dublin in the championship since 2010. The last time Meath beat Dublin in the championship, Instagram did not exist. So if you're watching this video on Instagram, I could not give you a match review on Meath beating Dublin in the championship the last time Meath beat Dublin in the championship, because Instagram didn't exist. That's how mental this gap between the two counties has got. With O'Rourke coming back in, I was expecting more of a fight. I was expecting more determination, especially considering it was played in Port Talton, but it did not materialise. Cillian O'Gara really impressed for Dublin. He hit 1-3 and picked up the Man of the Match award. His goal came in the first half, as Dublin led by 9 points at half-time. A late goal in the second half by Cormac Costello topped off the victory. Brian Fenton and Conor O'Callaghan both hit 4 points as well. Meath's only bright spark came with their goal in the 21st minute, a lucky Matthew Costello shot, which he was clearly going for the point, and it dropped into the back of the net. Dublin led 111 to 1-2 at half-time. The game was over. They hit 5 in a row between the 53rd and 60th minute to eliminate any chance at all of a Meath comeback. It's a good result for Dublin, especially after the defeat to Derry. They bounced back and they beat, one of their biggest rivals again. But for Meath, it's a massively disappointing result. But talk about this for an amazing result. Louth continue their winning ways. 110 to Louth, 10 points to Cork. Another hugely impressive win for Mickey Hart's men. Played at St. Mary's in RD. Louth end a 66-year wait to beat Cork. It's their first win over Cork since the All-Ireland final in 1957. Absolutely remarkable. 5 unanswered points was the late push for Louth to get over the line. And bear in mind, they did this without Sam Mulroy. So talk about that for an improvement for Louth. Kieran Downey's point in the 62nd minute put Louth ahead, and they powered on to victory for a 3-point victory from there. Cork remarkably got their last point of the game in the 51st minute from Luke Fahey, who was impressive. But early in the second half, Ryan Burns tucked away a penalty, was a massive score, as Daniel O'Mahony got sent off as well, and it all turned on its head for Cork. For Louth, obviously there's the fiasco about them not getting, the RT cameras at their games. They definitely deserve that. I mean, they really deserve the attention because, you think back-to-back promotions, and winning the Division 3 title and looking so good in Division 2. Because to be honest, when I thought they were going down, I thought it was going to be Louth and Limerick that would get relegated, especially when Clare beat them on the opening day and beat them in a way where Louth had them, and then Clare hit 4 points in a row in additional time to steal the victory. I was thinking, I can't see Louth. Now we're in a situation where if Louth beat Dublin in Croke Park, which they will 100% be underdogs in, but they've been underdogs in every one of the games that they've won. They were underdogs against Kildare, they beat them. They were underdogs against Meath, they beat them. They were underdogs against Cork, and they beat them. Can they go and take the biggest scalp of all? And if they beat Dublin, that is an amazing result for Louth. So I think that, honestly, do I believe that they think they can beat Dublin? I think they believe they can beat Dublin. I really do. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not saying whether I think they can beat them. I think Dublin should get that victory. But you look at, how close Louth ran Clare and how close Clare ran Dublin. Clare should have beaten Dublin in Croke Park. Kildare should have beaten Dublin in Croke Park, and Louth beat Kildare. So Dublin sometimes take their eye off the ball, and Louth have shown this season they're making teams pay for it. Speaking of Clare, they lost to Derry, and it's a bad, bad day for Clare football. They are relegated to Division 3, as of course Kildare beat Limerick. We're going to get on to that game. Kildare saved themselves by beating Limerick, relegating Limerick and Clare in the process. A 10-point defeat. Derry have secured promotion to Division 1 on the other hand, and they remain the only team across all 4 divisions to have a 100% record. Simply put, in this game, they just choked Clare to death. They led by 9 points to 0 at halftime. 9-0. Like, that's how fine an art Derry's system is now. Rory Gallagher is just a magician with teams. Shane McGuigan hit 5 points. Ethan Doherty hit 3. And speaking of Rory Gallagher, I wonder if Donegal are looking at this thinking that they missed a trick not backing this guy to the hill, because the way he's turned Derry around like that is absolutely remarkable. They were in Division 4 in 2017, and now they're up to Division 1 and Ulster champions. Remarkable, absolutely remarkable. For Clare, look, while they're relegated to Division 3, if some of you watch GAA Statsman, massive shout out to him, of course. The work he does is fantastic. We're having a chat about, Clare now are in the Tailteann Cup, which, are they going to win the All-Ireland? And I might get a bit of stick for this, but honestly, it's what I believe. I don't believe Clare are going to win the All-Ireland. I don't believe they're going to win the Munster Championship. I don't believe they're going to win Division 2 ever. So they've just got relegated from Division 2. But could they win the Tailteann Cup? Yeah, they could. And you look at it, with Colm Collins, the job that he's done with this Clare team. Does anybody remember we made it to the quarter-final one year? Nobody remembers if somebody made it to the quarter-final. People only remember it if you make it to the semi-finals. And for Colm Collins and his team, yes, while they've made a couple of quarterfinals and beating Roscommon last year in the qualifiers to get there was remarkable. The reality is they got beaten out the gate by Derry in the quarterfinal. And if you look at that Clare team, I think last year, if Clare were in the Tailteann Cup, I think you could very well argue they would have beaten Westmeath and Cavan. So it's a controversial thing to say. Westmeath were brilliant in the final, don't get it wrong, deserving Tailteann Cup champions. But when you look at it and you say, look how good Clare were last year, look how good they can be, Clare can go and win the Tailteann Cup. And I really think it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world at all now that they're in it. And they might go and win it. And that would be a perfect reward for Colm Collins for all the work that he's done with Clare over the years as their boss. He's been magnificent as their manager. Let me know what you think about it. Put it in the comments below. The last game in Division 2 that we're going to look at is Limerick 2-7, Kildare 3-10. As I mentioned, Kildare saving themselves. Limerick are relegated along with Clare. This game was still hanging in the balance right until the end when Dara Kirwan struck Kildare's third goal to finish Limerick off. But at the other hand, Kildare did lead from start to finish. A 20th minute goal from Kevin Flynn put them right in the driving seat. James Naughton hit a goal in the second half to reignite Limerick's challenge, but Jack Robinson came off the bench to get a goal for Kildare. But Robbie Burke responded very quickly with Limerick's second goal, and the game, as I said, was still neck and neck until Kirwan pounced and finished off the treaty men. Look, even though Kildare have survived, Glen Ryan should not be happy with this league campaign. Simply put, they've been terrible. they have barely scraped by in games where they really should have won comfortably. And then in games where they should have been competitive, they've been beaten out the gate. You think of the Derry game, they were terrible. The Louth game, they were terrible in particular. And yeah, it's just not been good enough for Kildare, for the players that they have, the likes of Daniel Flynn, Kevin Feely, Jack Robinson, Jimmy Hyland. It's not good. Mick O'Grady as well in defence is fantastic. It's not good enough that they weren't challenging for promotion. When you look at how good Louth have been able, like Kildare have a better squad than Louth. I know Louth beat them, but Louth have an amazing manager in Mickey Hart, a fantastic system, and they get the absolute best out of their players. On paper, Kildare's team is better than Louth. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be achieving what Louth are achieving. So for Glenryan next year, they have to, fix up and go for promotion out of Division 2 to get back in there with the big boys in Division 1. Let me know what you think about what they can do to improve it. Their management team looked like they were on to great things last year. I tipped them to be right up there challenging for promotion this year. It has not materialised at all. Moving down to Division 3. And we're going to look at the first game. Antrim 117, Cavan 212. An absolutely fantastic performance by Antrim, getting a victory that, to be honest, I definitely did not see coming. It's a perfect bounce back result for Antrim after a 31-point defeat to Westmeath. Rory McCann's first half goal set the tone as they led 1-7 to 4 points at halftime. They picked up where they left off in the second half, hitting the first 4 points of the second half to lead by 111 to 4 points, a 10-point lead. Cavan, though, all of a sudden found their mojo, and goals from Conor Madden in the 64th minute and Paddy Lynch in the 74th minute had cut the gap down to just a point. However, Paddy McBride clutched up and put Antrim 2 ahead again to seal a big win for Andy McEntee, and now to relegate Tipperary. But this game, and I'm just going to, pause here, this game was more than just a game of Gaelic football. Obviously, the tragic news of Liam Kearns' passing, of course, from all of us that play on GAA here, just our best wishes to Liam Kearns' family and friends, our deepest sympathies and our condolences to his friends and family. Just such tragic news. And this game, there was a minute's silence for him. And when the game went on to take place, Offaly won by 214 to 13 points. Goals laid on from Rory McNamee and Anton Sullivan gave Offaly a 6-point victory, and they did him proud and kept themselves right in there in the promotion race. So rest in peace, Liam Kearns. The next game then, of course, Fermanagh, 15 points, Westmeath, 2 goals and 8. Another massive promotion clash in Division 3. Fermanagh had big goal chances in this game and somehow didn't take any of them. Darren McGurran's shot was somehow scrambled clear. Josh Largo Ellis hit the crossbar. And Keane McManus might have missed the biggest goal chance of them all. He fired over for a point instead of a goal. Fermanagh pushed on to control the game and were leading 13 points to 6. But then in less than 60 seconds, Westmeath hit 2 goals. Kevin Maguire and David Lynch to make it 13 points to 2-6. However, with the point of the game, Ulton Kelm responded with a boomer for Fermanagh to make it 14 points to 2-6. And then Lee Cullen hit another, which put an absolute insurance policy on it that Fermanagh were not going to lose. And even though Westmeath narrowed it down to a 1-point game, Fermanagh hung on for victory. And now Fermanagh look like they could definitely get promotion, and probably should, to be honest, at this stage. For Westmeath, it's worrying. You think that, they're going to compete in the All-Ireland Championship and they can't get out of Division 3. Definitely some food for thought there for Desi Dolan. They've looked unbelievable at times in this league campaign so far. They've blown teams away. But then when the games have got tight and when the games have got tough, Westmeath have lost. That's just the fact. And he will need to look at it and realise, why is that the case? Why is that happening? The last game then in Division 3, down 119, Longford 114. Longford now are relegated to Division 4 as well. A dismal league campaign for them. They haven't really looked like winning any of the games that they played. They barely scraped a draw against Tipperary, and they've been beaten fairly handily in every one of their other games. Desi Reynolds' goal right on half-time did give them a boost. Pat Havern and Daniel Mimna traded the last couple of points of the half. At halftime, it was 1-6 to 9 points, level scores. Liam Kerr tucked away a penalty in the second half as Down began to pull away, however. And with Pat Havern now at full forward, hitting 5 points, Down were just simply stronger on the day. For Longford, yeah, just relegated, rebuild. Paddy Christie's a good coach. I know it hasn't gone their way. For Down, good signs there with Conor Laverty. You think about Eugene Brannigan being brought into the squad. Clearly, he's having a good influence there on the team, and they are getting better and better. Maybe promotion from Division 3 this year might not be a good thing. So maybe if Fermanagh and Cavan go up, that could suit down to the ground, because they might get another year in Division 3 to build their team and be ready for Division 2 when they get promoted. Speaking of promotion, we're going to move down to Division 4, and a game that was massively significant in the promotional battle was Leitrim 214, Laois 18 points. Leitrim saw off Laois at the death in this one. Keith Byrne got their first goal after 13 minutes to set them on their way, but the game remained neck and neck throughout. Evan O'Carroll and Paul Kingston were the two leading the way for Laois throughout this game. Scores from them made it a 2-point game at half-time, 8 to 9 points in favour of Leitrim. However, straight after the restart, Pierce Dolan hit the second goal for Leitrim to really put them into the driving seat. And with late points from Keith Byrne and Mark Plunkett, they clutched the victory and stayed just out of reach for Laois. And for Billy Sheehan, who'd be disappointed, they looked, pretty much untouchable in Division 4 in the first few games. Going away to Sligo, who I tipped top to division, and winning by 6 points, that definitely made me sit up and take notice of them. And they've been beaten in 2 games that have really set them back, Leitrim and then Wicklow. And it does bring in, are Laois at that level? Because in your head you remember Laois, the team with Ross Munnelly and Colin Parkinson, Tom Kelly and Joe Higgins, and you do put them a little bit above in your mind, but that is a long time ago. It's a long time ago since Laois were in Division 1, 2012. It's a long time since they were up at that level. And definitely work to do there for Billy Sheehan, no doubt about it. Speaking of Sligo, actually, they won 210 to 11 points against Carlow. They got a scrappy victory. 2 first half goals from Sean Carabine and Niall Murphy were crucial in getting this victory. It wasn't pretty, but they don't care, and they've got another victory. And apart from the Laois defeat, they've been flawless in Division 4, and in my opinion, they will get promoted. If they beat Leitrim next week in Carrick-on-Shannon, they will achieve that. So it's going to go right down to the wire, and I cannot wait to see who will get over the line. Then the next game in Division 4, Wexford 19 points, Wicklow 2-13. Wicklow looked to have done enough in this game. Owen Darcy struck their second goal in the 67th minute to make it 12 to 17 points in favour of Wicklow, but Wexford pulled them back, hitting 2 of the next 3 points to clinch the draw. Ben Brosnan hitting a free in the 8th minute of injury time to snatch a draw for Wexford and put a serious dent into Wicklow's promotion hopes. And now with losing that point, you never know. Someone could nip in ahead of Wicklow and take that second promotion spot, and that could be crucial. And with the local neighbourly rivalry between those 2 counties, that Wexford would have absolutely loved to have done that. The last game in Division 4, then Waterford 2-9, London 2-5. London were slightly better in the first half, getting a goal from Christopher Frawley. But just before half-time, Darragh Corcoran struck back for Waterford, and at half-time it was Waterford 1-2, London 1-3. So obviously Waterford had kept in the game. And in the second half, Waterford hit the front finally in the 44th minute with a goal from Sean Whelan Barrett, which put them ahead. London also lost James Gallagher to a second yellow card and could not recover in the end. And that's an important victory for Waterford, because they've been so bad in a lot of Division 4 games. And there was genuine talk that they were going to go like Kilkenny and not have a Gaelic football team, which would have been a real shame. And a victory like this, as small and, as, it's the bottom of Division 4, no one really cares, that's crucial that they just keep themselves alive, because you never, ever know. Look at how other teams have been revived in the past and bounced back. You never, ever know. Waterford could make a bit of a burst, and that victory against London could be crucial in keeping Gaelic football going in the county of Waterford. Now, we're done with Gaelic football. Now, this is the hurling recap here on Play on GAA, guys. So that's the Gaelic football done. And the first game we're going to look at in Division 1 of the hurling recap is Limerick 220, Wexford 15 points. A comprehensive victory for Limerick sees them through to the league semi-final, where they will face off against the high-flying Tipperary. And crucially for Limerick in this game, Aaron Gillan made his first start of the year. He finished with a goal and 5. Just casual, just strolls back in and scores 1-5. Must be nice to be as good at anything as Aaron Gillan is at hurling. The other goal came from Kyle Hayes. To be fair to Wexford, they were missing a load of players in this game. The likes of Matthew O'Hanlon, Diarmuid O'Keefe, Conor MacDonald, Liam McGovern, and Damien Reck were all out injured. Kyle Hayes' goal came early in the first half and helped Limerick to lead by 110 to 7 points at half time. Aaron Gillan's goal was more of a thing of luck. Fanning dropped a long ball and it deflected off him into the net. And yeah, just Limerick were a bit better than Wexford on the day, simply put. Lee Chin was outstanding though. You can't not mention him. He hit 11 points all by himself and he assisted 3 points. Only Jack O'Connor's point in the 69th minute was the only score that Wexford got without the direct involvement of Lee Chin. So he much deserves a shout out there for his efforts. I'm going to move on to the next game then. Westmeath 112, Galway 427. A resounding victory for Galway, and Henry Shefflin again turned his squad and got new lads in. The goals came from Brian Kincannon, Declan McLaughlin, Jason Flynn, and Tiernan Killeen. Evan Nyland also hit 11 points, but a massive blow for Galway came in this game in the form of David Burke with a cruciate ligament injury. Could this be the end of his time, playing hurling for Galway? Because a cruciate ligament injury at this stage of his career, when he's approaching his mid-30s, it's hard to see him come back from that, to be honest. He's been a magnificent hurler, and I really hope he makes a quick recovery and comes back playing for Galway. But I really hope that he does. It's because it's a tough injury to come back from at any stage of your career, let alone when you are approaching the twilight of your career like David Burke is. But I wish you absolutely all the best, David, and please get back playing soon. We're going to move on to the next game then. Clare 218, Cork 218. In this game, David Fitzgerald was sent off. Clare and Cork could not be separated. Aidan McCarthy led the way for Clare in this game with a goal and 13 points to his name. His return is absolutely crucial for Clare this season. The other goal for Clare came from David Reedy, while for Cork, Pádraig Power and Seamus Harnby got the goals for the Rebels, and the two sides could not be separated. Look, there was definitely a bit of shadow boxing going on. We all know the championship is the real deal in hurling. No one really cares that much about the league. So definitely, there was a bit of shadow boxing going on. Cork have a league semi-final coming up against Kilkenny, so they will also have one eye on that game as well. And speaking of Kilkenny, they qualified for that league semi-final by beating Waterford by 18 points to 16. In this game, Billy Drennan, Shane Walsh and Alan Murphy led the way in the closing stages of the game as Kilkenny got the job done. Drennan led the way with 10 points, and to be completely honest, he has been the find of the league, in my opinion. He already looks, it's not like he looks like a player with potential. He looks like their player for now. He looks like their best forward right now, along with Owen Cody. And I know that TJ Reid is coming back in. They have hopefully Adrian Mullen to come back in as well. But by God, Billy Drennan looks good. And yeah, for sure, he's definitely one to watch to see just how does he get on in the championship as well. For Waterford, I don't think it's been a particularly good league campaign. You talk about Davy Fitz, the second coming. There's no doubt he would have wanted to make a bigger impact on the Waterford team and on the league than he really has. They've kind of just beaten who they should have beaten, or not lost to who they shouldn't lose to, but then they haven't really put up any result that's impressed me so far in the league. The championship is where they're going to have to prove that this is for real under Davy Fitz, to be honest. Moving on then to another new era. Dublin 129, Laois 20 points. Micheál Donohue's Dublin get another victory over Laois in Parnell Park. Donald Burke scored 12 points and Alec Considine got the goal as Dublin cruised to a comfortable victory. Stephen Maher had 12 points for Laois, but all over the pitch. Laois just couldn't match Dublin in this one, and they go on to victory. Look, for Dublin, don't take too much out of this game. It is what it is. We got a victory that we were expected to get, but it's been kind of a routine that we beat Laois and then get hammered by Kilkenny. So, look, in the championship, just please put it up to Kilkenny, and then I'll really believe that this new era is something to really get behind. Obviously, I'm behind the boys, but as in something to get excited about. Please beat Kilkenny. Please go and beat a Galway, and then I'll know that we're for real about making these strides. The last game then in the league this week was Antrim 216, Tipperary 428. Tipperary continue their perfect record in the league. They had 11 different scorers in this game. Mark Keogh, Porrick Campion, Conor Bowe and Sean Ryan all hit the back of the net. John McGrath hit 7 points. Gerald O'Connor hit 9 points. Tipperary led by 14 points at half time. The game was done and dusted. Antrim rallied in the second half. Conal Cunningham, Nigel Elliott and Rian McMullen all led the way for them. But simply put, Tipperary had put too much daylight between the two sides and it was not enough for them. Yeah, so for Tipperary, I mean, I'm really liking this under Liam Cahill. It's caused a lot of controversy, that he's come in and he's kind of just, kicked down the door and taken the Tipperary job off Colin Bonner. But so far, it's working and they look damn good. And you'd have to say, when you look at their forwards now, Conor Bowe, Gerard O'Connor, Jason Ford, Seamus Callanan, Patrick Bonner-Marr, they look damn good. And they look like an absolute threat. And maybe an outside shot to challenge Limerick. A very bold early statement, but we've got the league semi-finals coming up, and let's see how they go. Completely switching codes then to the ladies Gaelic football action from Division 1. The first game we're going to look at is Donegal 6 points, Dublin 2 goals and 13 points. Donegal have survived relegation for this week because of the fact that Mayo did lose to Galway in their game. But simply put, Donegal have been atrocious in the league. It's not the fact of their defeats, it's the way they've been beaten. They got only scored 1 point against Cork. They have been atrocious in games. And for Maxi Kern, look, I know that obviously there's issues. He doesn't have his full squad available to them. But as I said, it's not the defeats. It's the manner of the defeats. They are getting absolutely thumped. In this game, a very comfortable 15-point victory. 13-point victory. I can't do the maths. 13-point victory for Dublin in this game. In a game that really mattered for Donegal to avoid relegation. They just didn't put up any fight. Donegal did not score in the entire first half. This is what I'm talking about. Dublin led at half-time by a goal and 11 to 0. That is appalling. That's the type of result that you lose your job for. Hannah Tyrrell scored 1-3 as Dublin dominated from the first whistle to push Donegal to the brink of relegation. They had the game finished in the first half. This is a ridiculous run for Donegal. The goal came in the 24th minute from Hannah Tyrrell with a penalty. In the second half, the player of the year, Niamh McLaughlin, came on for Donegal and she made a notable impact. She got on the score sheet herself. Donegal were a better team in the second half, but simply put, they need to seriously look at what the hell is going on here because Donegal have a good squad. They beat Dublin last year in the championship. They have a good team. This is not good enough from them, and they need to get better. Simply put, Dublin's second goal in the second half came from Orla Nolan, but really, they were never challenged in this game. Moving on to the next one then, Cork 117, Kerry 2-6. A big win for Cork over their neighbours and rivals Kerry. They hit the first 2 points of the game from Orla Cahalan and Emer Kiley. It was a back and forth opening before Cork hit a burst and hit 1-4 without reply. Ciara O'Sullivan, Emer Kiley, Rachel Dwyer all pointed before Ciara O'Sullivan set up Hannah Looney for the game's opening goal on 19 minutes to make it 1-6 to 2 points. After that, Kerry hit 2 in a row. Emer Kiley responded for Cork with 2 in a row. At half-time, it was 1-9 to 4 points. Kerry hit back early in the second half with Chief Roche netting a goal for the Kingdom. However, Emer, Kiley and Chief Roche traded scores and it was then 113 to 1-5. Kerry were always just a little bit too far away. Then Chief Roche gave Kerry hope with their second goal, but Cork kicked on home with 4 more points to Kerry's 1 to get the victory, 117 to 2-6. A very impressive victory for Shane Ronayne and his side over last year's All-Ireland finalists. Moving on to the next game then, Galway 13 points, Mayo 2 goals and 6. Roisin Leonard led the way for Galway with 5 points as they beat their local rivals and pushed Mayo closer and closer to a potential relegation. A goal in the first half from Tara Needham kept Mayo in touch with a Galway side that was more on the ball in terms of point scoring. Leonard hit a free to send Galway in at half-time, 7 points to 1-3 ahead. In the second half, Mayo looked like they might just push on and win it after a goal from Rachel Cairns. However, Galway kicked on with 4 points in a row from Kate Slevin with 2, Eva Noon and Alva Davern to kick on for victory. So no doubt, it's a big win for Galway and the fact it's over Mayo makes it all the sweeter. The last game then in the Ladies Gaelic Football Division 1 that I'm going to look at here is Waterford, a goal and 9, Meath 2 goals and 5 points. Vicky Wall returned for the Meath Ladies Gaelic Football team, but not a happy result, as Waterford pick up an impressive victory over the back-to-back All-Ireland Championship All-Ireland champions. What's even more impressive is that Meath were actually ahead at half-time by 6 points. Niamh O'Sullivan struck a goal in the first half for Meath. Amy O'Leary got the second goal as Avian Cleary's shot rebounded off the post, and she was quickest to react. At half-time, Meath were 2-4 to 4 points ahead. However, Meath only scored 1 point in the second half as Waterford dominated and reeled them back in before Lauren McGregor struck a goal in the dying minutes to give Waterford the victory. And Kellyanne Hogan added a point to seal what is a very impressive victory for the Waterford ladies Gaelic footballers. So with the league campaign, difficult to know what to make of it. I'm starting to really like the look of Galway in particular. Very strong defence, very good attack with the likes of Olivia Divilly, Roisin Leonard. And when you look at the success of teams like Kilkerran and Clonberne, there's a real basis there for Galway to make a crack at the All-Ireland this year. And, you consider that Meath, Eamon Murray gone, bit of an end of an era, Dublin in transition. There's a window there for a serious team to come in, and Galway, in my opinion, are the dark horses to fill that slot. Moving then across to the final code that we're going to look at here, the Camogie, and we're looking at Division 1A for the Camogie. The first game we're looking at here is Galway 114, Dublin 9 points. Another defeat for Dublin. It has been a very rough league campaign. Carrie Dolan led the way for Galway with a goal and 10. But once again, it was the same old story for Dublin. Over-reliant on Aisling Marr. She hit 8 of our 9 points in this game. Galway put us to the sword in the opening 9 minutes, scoring 5 points in a row. Dolan added a goal at the end of the first quarter, and Galway led by 110 to 5 points at half-time. Dublin did not threaten to come back in the second half, really. We only mustered 4 points, and Galway picked up a comfortable victory. It's the same old story for Dublin. We need more attackers, we need more threats, and we need to take the burden off Aisling Marr. Moving on then to the next game, Tipperary 120, Clare 7 points. An absolutely embarrassing first half from the Banner County as Tipperary led by 14 points to 0 at halftime. Like, how do you even talk to your team at halftime after that? You didn't even score and you conceded 14 points. Niamh Tracy, Cueva Marr and Emer McGrath are all outstanding in this game for Tip, and the all-star defender Mary Ryan also made her first appearance of the year to give Tipperary another boost. In the second half, Clare did get a bit better. Orla Duggan, Lorna McNamara, Chloe Maury all were crucial in making them a bit better in that second half. But the first half was just embarrassing. Tipperary have really impressed me, I have to say, over this league, and they look the most likely to threaten Camogie's top 3, which is Cork, Kilkenny and Galway. Look, Waterford looked really good last year, definitely made a burst. But in my opinion, Tipperary actually looked the most likely to do that. And 2 of those top 3 sides, Kilkenny and Cork, did battle over the weekend as well, with Kilkenny losing by a goal and 10 to Cork's 23 points. Cork have now all but secured their place in the Camogie League final. They got a 10-point victory over the team that beat them in last year's final. Amy O'Connor hit 5 points, Fiona Keating with 4, Cleena Healy with 3, and Hannah Looney, the dual star, with 2. Kilkenny's goal came from Julianne Malone, but they weren't on Cork's level in this game. And I have to say, for Cork and Kilkenny, look, Cork will be absolutely delighted. They pick up a league title. It's definitely a bit of momentum over the other sides that are in the big 3. And as I mentioned, to recap on the Camogie League, Tipperary are the side that I'm keeping an eye on the most because they do look the most likely out of any other team to break into that elite 3 in Camogie. So guys, that is the full recap here on Play on GAA of the Gaelic football action, the ladies Gaelic football action, the Camogie action and the hurling action. So please like, subscribe, share and comment because it really helps us out here on the channel. And yeah guys, until the next one, take care.